A big focus on India decides this evening. CAA rules notified as the nation heads into general elections. Is this the BJP's bid to frame the terms of the 2024 campaign? That's a question many critics are asking. Now, the announcement that has already triggered pointed attacks from the opposition has also led civil society groups and people from across communities question the move. Home Minister Amit Shah says the CAA is not anti-Muslim and that India's largest minority community has nothing to fear. But going beyond the political rhetoric around the CAA, concerns, apprehensions and confusions still persist around the act. Going by editorial pages of many leading newspapers, there are questions over the intent of the government and its timing. Is this the government's bid to polarize the Lok Sabha elections? Why has the government gone ahead with the notification despite a legal challenge? Does the act violate equality before law? Have the three neighbouring nations been cherry-picked to make it clear that this is one community that has been left out? Is citizenship being weaponized? From the Indian Express, the Hindu to the Telegraph, these are questions that editorials of India's top newspapers have raised. On the very day, the Home Minister made an attempt to reaffirm that the Muslims have nothing to fear about. But take a look at how this has played out politically.
सारे विपक्षी दल ओवैसी हो, राहुल गांधी जी हो या अरविंद केजरीवाल हो या ममता जी हो, ये झूठ की राजनीति कर रहे हैं. इसलिए टाइमिंग का महत्व नहीं है. भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने 2019 में अपने घोषणा पत्र में कहा है कि हम सीएए लेकर आएंगे और पाकिस्तान, अफगानिस्तान और बांग्लादेश के जो शरणार्थी है उनको नागरिकता देंगे. क्या तर्क है आपका? एंटी मुस्लिम कैसे है? जिस पर धार्मिक प्रताड़ना होती है इसको देंगे. मुसलमानों पर इसलिए धार्मिक प्रताड़ना नहीं हो सकती कि तीनों देश घोषित इस्लामी स्टेट है. कौन करेगा धार्मिक प्रताड़ना? कौन करेगा इस्लाम के अनुयायियों के साथ? ये तीनों देश घोषित इस्लामिक स्टेट है, इनके नाम के अंदर है, इनके संविधान में है.
ഒരു നിയമമാണ് അത് കേരളം നടപ്പാക്കില്ല എന്ന് നേരത്തെ തന്നെ പ്രഖ്യാപിച്ചതാണ്. ഇപ്പോഴും അത് തന്നെയാണ് ആവർത്തിച്ച് പറയാനുള്ളത്. ആ നിലപാട് എല്ലാ തരത്തിലും ഉറപ്പിക്കാൻ സർക്കാർ പ്രതിജ്ഞാബദ്ധമാണ്. അതിനാണ് സംസ്ഥാന സർക്കാർ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട സുപ്രീം കോടതി മുൻപാകെ ഒറിജിനൽ സ്യൂട്ട് ഫയൽ ചെയ്തത്.
जो इतनी भारी संख्या में बाहर से आप पाकिस्तान, बांग्लादेश के लोगों को हमारे देश में लाके बसाना चाहते हो, उनको नौकरियां कहां से दोगे? उनके लिए नौकरियां कहां से आएंगी? अपने देश में इतनी गरीबी है, अपने देश में ऑलरेडी लोगों के पास नौकरियां नहीं है, घर नहीं है, उनको कहां से लाके बसाओगे?
So, well, the political reactions, they're coming in. But on the show tonight, we aim to seek answers to the CAA question. Why is it a contentious law? And why the notification now, with the big general elections now upon us? Joining me on India Decides tonight, I'm being joined by Nalin Kohli, spokesperson of the BJP. Vivek Bansal of the Congress is also with us. Tushar Gupta, senior editor of Swaraj, is with us. And senior journalist Javed Ansari is also with us. Because this is about the editor's questions that we seek to get answers to. Nalin Kohli, going across to you first. You're the man in the hot seat now today as we bring these very pertinent questions to you. One of the key themes of all the editorials is how the government is treading dangerous territory. The moment you bring in religion into citizenship, you enter dangerous waters. How would you answer that question? Religion in citizenship, do you think that this is weaponization of citizenship?
No, I wouldn't agree with that. And I'm not even in the hot seat. I think the others are getting hot about nothing. It's all hot air on the other side. I'll make good my arguments. Let's go one by one. First, this is not weaponization of religion or citizenship. This is the India, a country which was diverse, open, welcoming to all religions. Prior to 1947, these were people who were us. You, me, any one of us. 47 was a line that was drawn where the Muslim community chose, demanded and got that as a right to have a separate country. So they chose their exit and said we will have a separate country, which was earlier Pakistan, which was East Pakistan, West Pakistan, essentially today's Bangladesh and Pakistan. Now let's look. There was a commitment in 47 that each one of the countries will take care of the citizens of a minority in their respective countries. We have done so. Our Muslim brothers and sisters have prospered in what is Bharat today. And there is no question of reduction of the population. It has increased. And they are safe. They are citizens of India like you, me, anyone else. We are all equal before the constitution. But let's look at what happened to the minorities, which were Hindus, Christians, Buddhists, Parsis, and
Just
Sikhs.
take a cue from what you said, Mr. Kohli. And this is a question that many of the editorials have also raised, Mr. Kohli. That why cherry pick nations? That is something that has sort of raised doubts and concerns, that why have you only picked Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan? What about the Rohingyas in Myanmar? What about the Tamils in Sri Lanka? So this cherry picking of nations perhaps raises concerns, and this is what the editorials have also pointed out.
Yes, so those editorials, respectfully to those who write it, would need to consider, was Myanmar ever a part of India? But Pakistan, today's Pakistan, was under Maharaja Ranjit Singh, so were parts of Afghanistan. That's how you are the Sikh community there. As is the case of Bangladesh, it was part of India. So neither was Sri Lanka or Nepal or Bhutan. So I mean, this is not an argument that you can build. We are talking of what was Akhand Bharat at that time in this. And look at the figures. 200,000 Sikhs were in Afghanistan in 1992. Today they are 500.
Okay.
In Pakistan, the minorities were 22%. Today they are down to 3%. Where have they disappeared?
Okay, let me get Mr. Bansal to respond to that. And then I'll go to Javed Ansari as well. Mr. Bansal, how would you respond to that argument?
Because when you say the persecution has taken place and these are the persecuted minorities.
Mr. Bansal, go ahead and respond to that argument that Mr. Kohli is making.
Well, let me first start with that. With all due respect to Mr. Nalin Kohli, what he had been saying that Akhand Bharat and all, that's very nice to hear. It's a good rhetoric. But I would like to ask him, as far as he says that Sikhs have been brought to this country. They had been the last lot had come to this country. And secondly, I would like to remind him, as far as persecution and all is concerned, how about what would you say about Tamils in Sri Lanka? Religion had never been this had been the beauty of this country. When we got independence, Pakistan emerged on the basis of religion. Whereas our religion, as far as father of the nation, late Mahatma Gandhi was concerned, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was concerned, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad was concerned, they had this religion had not been the basis. Our constitution does not discriminate on the basis of religion. Whereas this notification in itself is a highlighter to the fact that constitution is being...
That's a fair point.
Constitution is being disrespected.
That's a fair point, Mr. Kohli. Go ahead and respond to that, because, the Article 14 question is always going to be asked of you. This law in its essence, does it violate Article 14 and equality before law? Because this is the first time a religious litmus test has been, brought into the question of citizenship.
No, this is not a religious litmus test. This is intelligible differentia, creating a separate class under Article 14. That's the first point. Number two, where are the Sikhs gone? Bansalji says, Mr. Bansal, respectfully to you also.
Recently,
many of them are here hanging fire as refugees. So therefore, these are to convert it.
Mr. Bansal, let Mr. Kohli complete.
Their lot had been
let me finish.
Mr. Bansal, let Mr. Kohli complete. That's not how we do debates on NDTV. Mr. Kohli, go ahead.
Mr. Bansal, this is not how.
As far as
we can't have it like this.
That too had been,
so I'm saying, where are they? This is basically to ensure those who have come as refugees, those...
Come on, let's, for argument's sake, okay, Sikhs are there.
Nobody is going to hear anything. Let me get in Mr. Ansari, and then I'll come back to the... Because, the political tempers are high. Let's bring the mics down and let me go across to Mr. Tushar Gupta and then Mr. Javed Ansari as well. Mr. Tushar Gupta, how would you respond to the fact that, many point out that this is against Article 14 and hence unconstitutional, and the fact also that there is a legal challenge in courts? There are multiple petitions pending in courts and the government still going ahead with that.
There were petitions against Article 370 as well. What happened to them? All bogus. These PIL activists think that the courts have all the free time into the world to suit their political narratives, but it doesn't work like that. Look, I think at the altar of politics, we are sacrificing a historical perspective. Why did the partition happen? What were the grounds of partition? What were the grounds of the Liaquat-Nehru Pact? What was promised in the Nehru-Liaquat Pact? Which was the country that did not honor those commitments? It was East Pakistan and West Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh. I think we all agree on that. The Hindu-Muslim polarization that the opposition is claiming is happening, I'm saying forget about the Hindus for a moment. Aren't we aware about the 2012 attacks on Buddhists in Bangladesh? Aren't we unaware of the attacks on Christians just last year in Pakistan on the accusations of blasphemy? Haven't we seen where the Parsis have been reduced to in Karachi? And ironically, the first mayor of Karachi was a Parsi. Where are the Parsis today?
Fair.
You want to talk about...
No, hold on. Let me get to Mr. Javed Ansari and then I'll come back to you, Mr. Gupta. Mr. Javed Ansari, does the onus not lie on all of us to make sure that there is no false narrative? Because, this time and again linking the CAA to the NRC, which the government has clarified that for now the two have no links, and perhaps also talking about how this could potentially take away citizenship, whether the government says that this is not about taking away citizenship but granting citizenship. Do you think that these narratives accentuate the fears of our minorities in India, particularly the Muslim community?
Yes, but the responsibility lies with the decision makers. Primarily the responsibility lies with the decision makers. And now as to the fact is that about my good friend, Mr. Naril Kohli, who I respect immensely, I have abundant affection for him. He says that these were part of Akhand Bharat. Was POK not part of Akhand Bharat? And are people there not being persecuted? What happens to those who want to come back to India, who want to join who come back to India and join the mainstream? So our doors are shut to them. Is it not a fact that in Pakistan, Ahmadiyyas and Qadianis are being brutalized? Is it not a fact that in Myanmar, people in the thousands have been brutalized, killed, raped, maimed, and they've had to seek refuge in other countries? What happens to that? My objection to this is that for the first time, there's been a law which differentiates on the basis of religion. If you talk of Akhand Bharat, then is POK, or do they consider POK out of the pale of Akhand Bharat?
Those are fair questions, and let me get Mr. Kohli to respond to that. And also, let me expand the scope of the debate to also talk about the timing. Because, Mr. Kohli, many have questioned as to why the government decided to bring the law or sort of notify the rules right ahead of general elections when it saw the passage of Parliament more than 3 years ago. Many would question, the timing. And, of course, as the Telegraph also puts it very articulately, that the CAA augments the BJP's position as a party that benefits from polarization. Your response, Mr. Kohli?
So I'm making one position clear. I don't like to heckle anyone, but if I'm heckled this time to the detriment of my answer, I'll heckle into the answers of Mr. Bansal. So let's respect the rules of the debate. Otherwise, we'll follow the ones he wants to set.
Go ahead.
Let me first answer what Javed Bhai has said. The first part is that he has raised questions with, say, the Ahmadiyyas. They are minorities within the Islamic religion or within Islam. And they have multiple choices globally to select. They can go anywhere in probably 50 plus countries which follow Islam, and they have that choice. Whereas there is no Sikh country, there is no Hindu country in the world. There are multiple Christian countries, people have that choice too. So therefore, these are citizens of India who were there. And when Pakistan was created, and it was created on a Hindu-Muslim divide, if I may call it, then the Muslims were collectively choosing to be there. And therefore, I have to distinguish with it. When I already pointed out that Myanmar was not part of it, Javed Bhai, or even the Tamilians, Sri Lanka wasn't, then we are expanding this to a question of refugees versus getting the choice to come into the country. This is not about refugees. This is about those who were part of the country, were on the other side of the border, which is the divide, were promised to have got a fair deal, have got a raw deal, are suffering consistently, And we are saying up to 2014 December, they have a right to come here
But Mr. Kohli,
and
what
give
about
them
the Indian
citizenship.
Muslims? You talk
Many
about
of them are
partition.
already.
What about the Indian
Now the
Muslims?
timing.
Do you think,
May I-
they would be let down
May I-
when,
What about
your
Indian
representatives,
Muslims? Please
say that,
permit me,
there are
I-
all communities that are welcome except the Muslim?
Can you please permit me? I don't want to heckle. I'm not a heckler.
Hold on,
Inelegant choice of
hold on.
words.
Okay,
I'll come back.
It's, I think, inelegant choice of words because. Should I answer this or
Go ahead,
someone
Mr.
else?
Kohli.
is
Go ahead,
speaking
Mr.
on
Kohli, quickly.
Yes. So I was saying inelegant choice of words because the entire thing of CAA as a law, and I also speak as a lawyer, it's an intelligible differentiator to create a class. It's not about exclusion. It's about recognizing who's minorities. So I mean, respectfully, in a Muslim majority country, the Muslim cannot be treated as a minority. So
Okay.
a persecution of a Muslim in a Muslim majority country is not of him as a minority. It's of him for other reasons. As any other religion, in any religion which is a majority.
Mr. Javed
So
Ansari
therefore,
has
if
been
I just
wanting to
simply
make a
say,
point.
suppose there's
Go ahead,
action
Mr.
against a
Ansari.
Hindu person in India, which is a majority, you can't say he's being persecuted for being a Hindu.
Point taken. Point taken. Mr. Ansari, go ahead.
Can I just correct my friend Nalin Kohli? Ahmadiyas are not recognized as Muslims by the Pakistani state.
Yes.
And the headquarters of the Ahmadiyya state, Ahmadiyya sect, is in Gurdaspur in the Union of India. That's why their claims is a bit more than everybody else's. They are not, my dear friend, they are not considered Muslims there. The only Nobel laureate of Pakistan, Abdul Salam, they dug up his
practice
grave
Islam?
and they disowned him because they said
So
he was
it is
not a
indeed
Muslim.
a complex issue. It is indeed a complex issue, and many sort of historical identities and that
just one
context
question,
has to be
but
kept
do they pray
kept in
to
mind.
Allah
Let me go
and
across
follow
to-
the Quran?
Let
That
me
is the
go across
question
to
which
Mr.
I need to
Vivek
be
Bansal,
clarified.
because I also want to bring in the politics of it. While Mr. Bansal, you say that the BJP is trying to milk this politically, your alliance partner, the Aam Aadmi Party here, also sort of made a rather cryptic comment saying that the BJP is allowing Pakistanis to come here and the BJP is wanting to give them jobs and our rights, which of course is also polarizing the entire issue.
First of all, let me say that whatever the Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is saying, that too has some substance in it. That
Okay.
as far as jobs are concerned and all, as it is, we are running short of unemployment is at its peak. Youth is wandering from in search of jobs. Secondly, I would like to say polarization. What had been the fate of Pakistan, East Bengal on the basis of religion? What is now the fate of Pakistan? What we are witnessing over there, democracy has not been able to survive. What we have seen that it witnessed a vivisection of its territorial
So the
East.
point you're making is
So
that
you see,
essentially-
I am reminded of a couplet of a Pakistan शायर. तुम बिल्कुल हम जैसे निकले, वही मूर्खता, वही गंवारपन, जिसमें हमने सदी बिताई, आखिर पहुंची द्वार तुम्हारे, बहुत बधाई, बहुत बधाई.
Okay.
So
So,
please,
perhaps India's
history has
fragile and
lessons to
diverse
teach us.
tapestry
We
has to
should
be kept
learn
in
from
mind as
history.
well. I'm afraid
Religion
I'm
should
completely
not be
running
the
out of
basis of
time.
this
But
great
thanks very much,
country.
gentlemen. This is indeed, a politically heated debate. Of course, many sensitivities involved as well. But of course, our bid was to make the government answer very pertinent questions raised by India's leading dailies. That's it on India Decides this tonight. From all of us here. Goodbye.